I never thought a simple piece of paper could shatter my world. It was just sitting there on my windshield, folded neatly under the wiper blade, like any ordinary flyer. But the words inside turned my ordinary Tuesday into the day everything changed. You deserve to know the truth about Ethan. He's not who you think he is. My name is Harper, and until that moment, I thought I had the life I'd always wanted. A successful career in sales management, a beautiful 6-year-old daughter, and a husband who, well, I thought I knew who he was. I sat in my car, in the empty parking garage of Morton Financial, where I'd just finished a late meeting. The note trembled in my hands as I read it again. The handwriting was neat, feminine. No signature, just those 2 sentences that made my stomach twist into knots. My phone buzzed, making me jump. A text from Ethan. Running late tonight. Don't wait up. 4th time this month. I started the car, trying to push down the acid feeling in my throat. The drive home was a blur of streetlights and questions. Who wrote the note? What truth? And why now? When I pulled into our driveway, Mrs. Peterson from next door was just leaving with Chloe. She'd been watching her since school let out. Mommy! Chloe ran to me, her backpack bouncing. I drew a family picture today. Want to see? I forced a smile, hugging her tight. Of course, sweetie. Let's go inside. Mrs. Peterson gave me an odd look. Everything okay, Harper? You look pale. Just a long day at work, I lied, ushering Chloe inside. In the kitchen, Chloe spread her drawing across the counter while I mindlessly started dinner. 3 stick figures stood holding hands. A tall one with brown hair, Ethan. A medium one with yellow hair, me. And a small one with pigtails, Chloe. Daddy's not home again? Chloe asked, coloring another picture. He's working late, sweetie. He works late a lot now. Kids. They notice everything. I was loading the dishwasher when my mother-in-law Helen called. She's always had this uncanny timing. Harper, dear? I was wondering if you and Ethan are still coming to Sunday dinner. Of course, I said, then hesitated. Helen, has Ethan seemed different to you lately? A pause. Too long to be casual. Different how? I don't know. Maybe I'm imagining things. I glanced at Chloe, now absorbed in her iPad. Actually, never mind. We'll see you Sunday. After putting Chloe to bed, I sat at my desk and opened my laptop. The note lay beside me, those words taunting me. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Should I check our phone records? Credit card statements? The thought made me feel sick. This wasn't me. I didn't spy on people, especially not my husband. But I found myself logging into our shared accounts anyway. The front door opened at 11:43 p.m. I heard Ethan's keys hit the bowl by the door, his footsteps in the hallway. When he appeared in our bedroom doorway, he looked surprised to see me still up. Hey, he said, loosening his tie. You didn't have to wait up. I studied him, his slightly rumpled shirt, the way he wouldn't quite meet my eyes. How was work? Brutal. This merger is killing me. He disappeared into the bathroom. Water ran. Did Chloe get to bed okay? She drew a family picture today. That's nice. The casual dismissal in his voice made something snap inside me. Where were you really tonight, Ethan? He appeared in the doorway, face half covered in shaving cream. What do you mean? I held up the note. Someone left this on my car today. He took it, read it, his expression unreadable. Then he laughed, but it didn't reach his eyes. This is ridiculous. Probably someone playing games. You don't believe this, do you? I wanted to believe him. God, how I wanted to. But something in his laugh, in the way he immediately dismissed it. No, I lied. Of course not. But as I lay awake that night, listening to his steady breathing beside me, I knew things would never be the same. Someone out there knew something about my husband, something they thought I deserved to know. And now I had to decide, did I want to know the truth, even if it destroyed everything I loved? The next few days felt like walking through fog. Every conversation with Ethan seemed loaded with double meanings. Every casual touch between us felt rehearsed. I caught myself analyzing everything. The way he checked his phone under the table, how he always seemed to take calls in another room. Sunday dinner at Helen's house couldn't have come at a worse time. As we pulled into her driveway, Ethan's phone buzzed again. He silenced it without looking at me. Work? I asked, trying to keep my voice neutral. Always is. He helped Chloe out of her car seat. Let's not start this again, Harper. Helen opened the door before we reached it, hugging Chloe tight. There's my favorite granddaughter. I made your special mac and cheese. While Chloe ran inside, Helen's eyes met mine. That same knowing look I'd caught over the phone. In the kitchen, I helped Helen with the salad while Ethan and Chloe set the table. The familiar rhythm of Sunday dinner almost made things feel normal. Almost. The merger's going well, Ethan announced over dinner. We're finalizing details with the Blake Corporation next week. Helen paused, fork halfway to her mouth. Blake, isn't that where your old college friend works? What was her name? Fiona, he said quickly. Too quickly. Fiona Blake. Her father owns the company. The room suddenly felt too warm. I watched Ethan's face carefully, but he was focused on cutting his chicken into precise pieces. Mommy, can I go play? Chloe asked, pushing her half-eaten mac and cheese around. Sure, sweetie. Stay in the living room where we can see you. As soon as Chloe left, Helen cleared her throat. Ethan, would you mind checking the garbage disposal? It's making that noise again. He disappeared into the kitchen, and Helen leaned forward. Harper, what's really going on? I don't know what you mean. Don't do that. She reached across the table, squeezing my hand. I've known you for 8 years. Something's wrong. Before I could answer, my phone lit up with a text. Unknown number. Ask him about the Hotel Meridian last Thursday. My hands started shaking. Helen must have seen something in my face because she stood up. Ethan, the disposal can wait. Come finish your dinner. Later, while Ethan loaded Chloe into the car, Helen pulled me aside. Whatever it is, you're stronger than you think. And you're not alone. That night, after Chloe was asleep, I sat at my computer again. The Hotel Meridian's website showed a sleek downtown building, popular with business travelers. And right across the street from the Blake Corporation. Still working. Ethan appeared behind me. I quickly switched tabs. Just checking emails. I turned around. How's Fiona these days? He blinked. What? Your college friend. The one at Blake Corporation, you must see her a lot with this merger. Not really. He shrugged. She handles different departments. The lie hung between us like smoke. I'd already found their old college photos on Facebook. They'd dated for 2 years. That's funny, I said, standing up. Because her LinkedIn says she's director of acquisitions. Exactly the person you'd work with on a merger. His face hardened. Are you spying on me? Are you lying to me? The silence stretched until he broke eye contact. I'm going to bed. You're being paranoid. But as he walked away, his phone buzzed. He checked it reflexively, and I caught the flash of a woman's face on his screen before he quickly pocketed it. That night, I lay awake again, but this time I was planning. The note, the hotel, Fiona Blake, pieces were falling into place. But I needed proof. Real proof, not just suspicions and coincidences. I grabbed my phone and typed, Hotel Meridian. Thursday. The response came almost immediately. Room 1542. 2-hour booking. Regular occurrence. My anonymous informant was getting bolder. But who were they? And more importantly, why were they helping me? In the darkness, Ethan's phone buzzed again. He reached for it in his sleep, and I watched as his face was illuminated by the screen. For a moment, his expression softened into something I hadn't seen in months, genuine happiness. That's when I knew. I couldn't just wait for more anonymous tips. I needed help, professional help. Tomorrow, I would start looking for a private investigator. Sam Reynolds' office looked exactly like you'd expect a private investigator's office to look. Worn leather chairs, filing cabinets with peeling labels, and blinds that needed dusting. The man himself, though, surprised me. I'd expected someone harder, more cynical. Instead, he had kind eyes and listened without judgment as I laid out my suspicions. The credit card statements were what convinced me to come here, I said, sliding the printouts across his desk. 3 charges at the Hotel Meridian in the past month. Business dinners that run until midnight. A jewelry purchase I never saw. Sam studied the papers. And you said you're getting anonymous tips? Yes. Texts from different numbers. Always accurate so far. He leaned back. Could be someone inside his company. Or, sometimes it's the other woman herself. Guilty conscience or wanting to blow things up. The thought made my stomach turn. I remembered Fiona's LinkedIn photo. Confident smile, perfectly styled hair. The kind of woman who always gets what she wants. I need to know for sure, I said. For my daughter's sake. Sam nodded. I'll start today. But Harper. He hesitated. Are you prepared for what I might find? Before I could answer, my phone buzzed. Ethan, where are you? Thought we were having lunch. Shit. I'd completely forgotten. I have to go, I said, standing quickly. How soon can you? I'll have preliminary findings in 48 hours. But remember, once you know something, you can't unknow it. I made it to our usual lunch spot 20 minutes late. Ethan was already there, looking irritated. Client meeting run long? Something like that. I sat down, my heart pounding. How many lunches had we shared here? How many lies? I ordered your usual. He pushed a salad toward me. Listen, I need to talk to you about something. My fork clattered against the plate. What is it? The merger's moving faster than expected. I'll need to be in New York next week. Just for 3 days. New York, where the Blake Corporation's headquarters were located. With Fiona? The name slipped out before I could stop it. His expression flickered. The whole team will be there. Harper, what's going on with you lately? These accusations, the questions. It's not like you. Maybe I'm not the person you think I am anymore. I met his eyes. Maybe neither are you. The waiter arrived with Ethan's lunch, breaking our staring contest. As Ethan thanked him, I noticed something on his collar, a smudge of red lipstick, barely visible against the white fabric. I never wear red lipstick. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. Check your joint account. $5,000 withdrawn yesterday. Ask him what it's for. I pushed my untouched salad away. I have to go. You just got here. I forgot. Something at the office. I grabbed my purse, nearly knocking over my water glass. Enjoy New York. Outside, I barely made it around the corner before the tears started. I ducked into a coffee shop bathroom, splashing cold water on my face. When I looked in the mirror, I hardly recognized myself. How had I become this person, spying, lying, jumping at every text? My phone buzzed one more time. Sam Reynolds. Found something. Can you come back to the office? I took a deep breath, fixed my makeup, and straightened my shoulders. Whatever Sam had found, whatever truth was waiting for me, I had to face it. For Chloe. For myself. But first, I needed to make a stop at the bank. $5,000 was a lot of money to disappear without a trace. And something told me I wasn't going to like where it went. As I drove back to Sam's office, I caught myself checking the rearview mirror more than usual. Was that black SUV following me? Was I becoming paranoid, or was someone watching my every move? Either way, in less than an hour, I'd have answers. And then I'd have to decide what to do with them. The bank teller's face said everything before she even spoke. I'm sorry, Mrs. Marshall, but the withdrawal was authorized with your joint account signature card. There's nothing we can do. $5,000. Gone. Just like that. I sat in my car, gripping the steering wheel, when my phone lit up with Sam's latest message. Got the surveillance photos. You should see these now. The drive to his office felt like moving through molasses. Every red light lasted an eternity. Every turn brought me closer to something I couldn't unknow. Sam was waiting at his desk with a manila envelope. Before I show you these, are you sure? I nodded, not trusting my voice. The photos spilled across his desk like fallen leaves. Ethan and Fiona entering the Hotel Meridian. Lunch dates at secluded restaurants. Shopping at high-end jewelry stores. But it was the last photo that stopped my breath. Ethan helping Fiona look at houses in the suburbs. The realtor's paperwork shows they're looking in good school districts, Sam said quietly. Good school districts. For children. They're children. My phone buzzed. Mrs. Peterson. Chloe's not feeling well. Can you pick her up early from school? Reality crashed back in. I gathered the photos with shaking hands. I need copies of everything. Harper. Sam's voice stopped me at the door. There's more. That $5,000? It was transferred to a new account. Joint names, Ethan Marshall and Fiona Blake. The school nurse's office was quiet except for the hum of fluorescent lights. Chloe sat on the vinyl cot, looking small and pale. My tummy hurts, she whispered as I hugged her. I know, baby. Let's go home. In the car, Chloe's voice drifted from the back seat. Is Daddy coming home tonight? He's working late again. Jessica at school says her daddy worked late a lot too. Then he went to live in a different house. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. Chloe, I don't want Daddy to live in a different house. At home, I tucked Chloe into bed with ginger ale and crackers. She fell asleep clutching her favorite stuffed rabbit, the one Ethan bought her last Christmas. Before everything changed, I was in the garage getting laundry detergent when I noticed Ethan's car. He usually took it to work, but today he'd borrowed my SUV, claiming his was making a strange noise. The driver's door was unlocked. I opened it, not sure what I was looking for until I found it. A phone charger plugged into the cigarette lighter, connected to a phone I'd never seen before. My hands trembled as I unplugged it. The screen lit up with notifications. Miss you already. Can't wait for New York next week. Found the perfect house today. For bedrooms, just like we talked about. Don't forget to move the rest of the money before she notices. A car door slammed outside. I scrambled out of Ethan's car, but not fast enough. Harper. Ethan stood in the garage doorway. What are you doing? I held up the phone. I don't know. What am I doing, Ethan? His face went blank, then hard. You're going through my things now? Like you're going through our bank account? $5,000, Ethan? House hunting with Fiona. You had me followed? He stepped closer, voice dangerous. You hired someone to spy on me? You're planning a life with her. My voice cracked. While our daughter cries herself to sleep wondering why her daddy's never home. Give me the phone, Harper. Or what? You'll leave? Go live in that 4-bedroom house with your new family. He reached for the phone. I stepped back, bumping into his car. Mommy. Chloe's small voice froze us both. She stood in the doorway, clutching her rabbit. Why are you fighting? Ethan's face softened. Princess, go back to bed. Mommy and Daddy are just. Don't. I cut him off. Don't you dare pretend this is nothing. Not anymore. I walked to Chloe, scooped her up, and carried her inside, leaving Ethan in the garage with his secret phone and his crumbling lies. That night, as Chloe finally drifted off in my bed, I made a decision. Tomorrow, I would call Helen, and then I would call a lawyer. Sam's final report arrived in my email at 3 a.m. I sat in our home office, the blue light from my laptop casting shadows as I scrolled through document after document. Bank statements, hotel receipts, property listings, and then the emails. We'll tell her after New York, Ethan had written to Fiona. Once everything's in place. What about Chloe? Fiona's response. She'll adjust. Kids are resilient. My fingers hovered over the print button when I heard footsteps in the hallway. I quickly closed the laptop. Mommy. Chloe appeared in the doorway, rubbing her eyes. I had a bad dream. I gathered her into my arms, breathing in her strawberry shampoo. Want to tell me about it? She buried her face in my neck. You and Daddy were gone. I couldn't find you anywhere. The front door opened and closed. Ethan's footsteps in the foyer, past midnight again. I held Chloe tighter. Harper. Ethan called softly. Why are you both up? Bad dream, I said, not looking at him. I've got this. Go to bed. But he lingered in the doorway. Princess, let Daddy take you back to bed. Chloe clung to me harder. Even she could feel it, the fractures spreading through our family like cracks in glass. The next morning, I dropped Chloe at school and drove straight to Helen's house. She opened the door in her gardening clothes, took one look at my face, and pulled me inside. I made coffee, she said, leading me to the kitchen. But I'm guessing we need something stronger. I spread the printed emails across her counter. She read in silence, her face growing harder with each page. That manipulative little, she caught herself. How long have you known? For sure? Since yesterday. But I've suspected. I couldn't finish. And the house hunting? 4-bedroom colonial in Greenwich. They're closing next week. My voice cracked. He's already moved most of our savings. Helen's hands trembled as she poured 2 fingers of bourbon into coffee mugs. What are you going to do? Before I could answer, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number, but this time with a photo. Ethan and Fiona outside a doctor's office. OB-GYN. The mug slipped from my hand, shattering on the floor. Harper. Helen grabbed my phone. Her face went pale. Oh my God. I have to go, I said, standing so quickly my chair toppled backward. I have to. Wait. Helen caught my arm. Don't do anything rash. Think about Chloe. I am thinking about Chloe. The words exploded out of me. He's planning a whole new life, a whole new family, while our daughter has nightmares about being abandoned. My phone buzzed again. Ethan, we need to talk. Coming home early today. He knows, I whispered. Someone must have told him about Sam. Helen squeezed my hand. Then you need to be ready. Get your documents in order. Call my lawyer. Don't let him control this narrative. I drove home in a daze, barely registering the traffic. When I pulled into our driveway, Ethan's car was already there. And next to it, a sleek black BMW I'd never seen before. Through the living room window, I could see them. Ethan pacing. A woman sitting on our couch, elegant, poised, one hand resting protectively over her stomach. Fiona Blake had come to my house. My phone buzzed one final time. Sam. Got everything you needed for the lawyer. But there's something else you should know. The money transfers, they're not just to one account. He's been moving funds offshore. Whatever you're going to do it fast. I gripped the steering wheel, watching through the window as Ethan gestured animatedly. Explaining? Arguing? Planning? The front door opened. Ethan stepped out, spotted my car. Our eyes met across the driveway. Harper, he called. Come inside. We need to talk about our future. Our future. As if we still had one. I reached for my phone, pulled up Helen's number, and typed. Call the lawyer. It's time. Then I stepped out of my car, straightened my spine, and walked toward the house where my husband and his pregnant mistress waited to destroy my world. The living room felt like a stage set, our family photos watching from the walls as I faced my husband and his pregnant mistress. Fiona Blake perched on my couch like she belonged there, one manicured hand still resting on her stomach. "Harper," Ethan started, "we wanted to do this differently, but—" "In our home." My voice came out steady, surprising even me. "With our daughter's drawings on the fridge?" Fiona shifted, her designer dress rustling. "We thought it would be better to be honest." "Honest?" I laughed, the sound sharp and foreign. "Like the honest way you've been spending my family's money? Or the honest way you've been house hunting while my daughter has nightmares?" "That's enough." Ethan stepped between us. "This isn't Fiona's fault." My phone buzzed. "Helen, lawyer meeting set. Don't sign anything." "You're right," I said, sliding the phone back into my pocket. "It's yours." The doorbell rang. We all froze. "Expecting someone else?" I asked. Ethan moved to answer it, but I was faster. Helen stood on our porch, holding Chloe's hand. "Mommy!" Chloe rushed past me. "Grandma picked me up early and—" She stopped, seeing Fiona. "Who's that?" The silence felt like glass about to shatter. "I'm a friend of your daddy's," Fiona said, standing. "From work." Chloe's face scrunched in confusion. "Why are you holding your tummy like Mrs. Peterson did before she had her baby?" The room spun. Helen grabbed my arm, steadying me. "Chloe," Ethan said softly, "why don't you go up to your room?" "No." I found my voice. "She deserves to hear this. Since we're being honest." "Harper, don't. Your daddy and his friend are having a baby," I said, watching Ethan's face pale. "And they're moving to a new house. Without us." Chloe's lower lip trembled. "Daddy." "It's not that simple," he started, but Helen cut him off. "Simple enough to empty joint accounts?" She pulled papers from her bag. "Simple enough to put down a deposit on a house while your daughter needs braces?" Fiona stood, gathering her purse. "This isn't appropriate with the child here." "My granddaughter," Helen corrected. "The one you're trying to replace." "No one's replacing anyone," Ethan snapped. "Harper, you're making this worse." "I made it worse?" The laugh bubbled up again, hysteric. "I'm not the one starting a new family while destroying this one." Chloe burst into tears, running upstairs. The sound of her door slamming echoed through the house. "Happy now?" Ethan growled. "This is exactly why." "Why what?" I stepped closer. "Why you couldn't be honest. Why you had to sneak around, steal our savings, plan your escape. You were suffocating me." The words exploded from him. Always so perfect, so controlled. "Fiona understands." "Understands what?" "How to spend other people's money. How to destroy a 6-year-old's world." Fiona moved toward the door. "Ethan, we should go." "Yes, go." I pulled out my phone, showing them Sam's report. "But first, explain these offshore accounts. I'm sure the divorce court will be very interested." Ethan's face changed, something dark flashing across it. "You had me investigated? You left me no choice." "No choice." He laughed bitterly. "You want to talk about choices? Fine. Here's one. Either we handle this quietly my way, or I'll make sure you never see a penny. Good luck fighting my family's lawyers on a sales manager's salary." Helen stepped forward. "You'd dare. Stay out of this, Mother." His voice was ice. "Choose sides carefully." I looked around our living room, at the family photos, Chloe's artwork, 8 years of memories, and felt something inside me break. "Get out," I whispered. "Both of you. Get out of my house." "It's my house too," Ethan said softly. "And soon it'll be on the market. Better start packing, Harper." They left, the door closing with a quiet click that felt louder than a slam. Upstairs, I could hear Chloe crying. Helen touched my shoulder. "Harper, I need to check on Chloe." My voice sounded far away. Can you call the lawyer? Tell them everything." She nodded, and I climbed the stairs, each step feeling like I was walking through deep water. Behind Chloe's door, my daughter was sobbing, the sound of a world breaking apart. I pressed my forehead against the wood, wondering how I could possibly fix what Ethan had so thoroughly destroyed. The lawyer's office felt too small for all the tension it held. I sat across from Ethan and his attorney, watching them review the settlement offer. My hands were steady as I placed my phone on the table, screen dark but recording. "This is ridiculous," Ethan's lawyer said, pushing the papers away. "My client won't agree to these terms." My lawyer, Patricia Chun, smiled thinly. "The offshore accounts say otherwise." The door opened. Fiona walked in uninvited, her pregnancy now more visible. "Sorry I'm late." "This is a private meeting," Patricia started, but Ethan waved her off. She stays. She's part of this now. I caught Patricia's subtle nod. Perfect. Just as we'd planned. Fine, I said. Let's talk about everything then. The house in Greenwich. The dummy corporations. The money laundering through Blake Corporation. Fiona's perfectly composed face cracked. What are you talking about? Show them, I told Patricia. She opened a folder, spreading photos across the table. Meetings with known financial criminals. Wire transfers. Documents with signatures that weren't quite legal. Where did you get these? Ethan's voice shook. Same place I got everything else. You're not the only one who can hire people, Ethan. Fiona grabbed his arm. You said you handled this. Handled what? I leaned forward. The illegal transfers? Or making sure I'd be too broke to fight for custody? You bitch, she hissed. You have no idea what you've sacrificed. I cut her off. What you deserve. That's the difference between us, Fiona. I'm not interested in what I deserve. I'm interested in what's right for my daughter. Our daughter, Ethan snapped. The daughter you were going to abandon? Or the one you're using to hide your illegal activities? His lawyer shifted uncomfortably. Perhaps we should take a recess. No. I pressed play on my phone. Fiona's voice filled the room. Once the money's moved, she won't be able to trace it. Your mother's inheritance, the company funds, everything. Ethan's face went white. You recorded. That's illegal, his lawyer interrupted. So is fraud, Patricia countered. Your choice, Mr. Marshall. Sign the fair settlement, or we take everything to the SEC. Fiona stood abruptly. This is blackmail. This is justice. I met her eyes. You wanted my life. My husband? Fine. But you don't get to steal my daughter's future. Ethan, she pleaded. Tell them about the plan. About how we're going to. Stop talking, his lawyer warned, but it was too late. The plan. I pressed. You mean the one where you use Blake Corporation to hide the money? Or the one where you make me look unstable, so I lose custody? Ethan's facade finally cracked. You don't understand. I had to protect. Your assets? Your new family? I stood gathering the photos. Sign the papers, Ethan. Full custody, fair financial split, and I'll keep these private. Fight me and everyone sees them, including your father-in-law at Blake Corporation. Fiona's hand dropped from her stomach. You wouldn't. Try me. The room fell silent except for the scratch of Ethan's pen. With each signature, I felt the weight of the past months lifting. I hope you're happy, he muttered, sliding the papers back. Happy. I gathered my things, standing. No, but Chloe will be safe. That's all that matters now. At the door, I turned back. Oh, and Fiona? That anonymous note on my windshield months ago? Thank your assistant. She's been very helpful. Their shocked faces were the last thing I saw as I walked out, Patricia beside me with the signed papers. You okay? She asked in the elevator. I thought about Chloe, waiting at Helen's house. About the apartment I'd already rented, the new school I'd researched, the future we'd rebuild together. I will be, I said, and for the first time in months I believed it. My phone buzzed. Helen. Chloe's asking when you're coming home. Home. Not the house Ethan and I had shared, but somewhere new. Somewhere ours. I typed back. On my way. Tell her everything's going to be okay now. And this time it wasn't a lie. 3 months later, I stood in our new apartment, surrounded by moving boxes and the sound of Chloe's laughter. She was in her room, arranging stuffed animals on her fresh purple bedspread. Her choice, not mine. The last box from storage, Helen announced, setting it down in the living room. Though why you kept Ethan's old college yearbooks? I smiled, taking out the photo albums. Evidence never hurts. Especially with the SEC investigation still ongoing. The news had broken last week. Blake Corporation under federal investigation, Fiona's father stepping down as CEO. Ethan's name hadn't surfaced yet, but it would. My phone buzzed. Sam Reynolds. Thought you'd want to know, ENF's Greenwich house just listed for sale. Looks like paradise lost. I deleted the message without responding. Their paradise wasn't my concern anymore. Mommy, Chloe called from her room. Can we hang my pictures now? The walls were already decorated with her artwork, bright, happy drawings without the darkness that had shadowed her work during the separation. Her therapist said that was a good sign. Coming, sweetie. I turned to Helen. Stay for dinner? Actually. She pulled an envelope from her bag. I wanted to show you something first. I recognized the legal letterhead, her estate attorney. Helen, you don't have to. I do. She pressed the papers into my hands. Read it. The document was simple but clear. Helen's entire estate would pass to Chloe through a trust, with me as executor until she turned 25. What about Ethan? He made his choice. Her voice was firm. I'm making mine. A knock at the door interrupted us. Through the peephole, I saw Ethan. The first time he'd come to the apartment for his weekend visit with Chloe. He looked different, thinner, tired. The scandal at Blake Corporation had hit him harder than he'd expected. Daddy! Chloe ran to him, and I watched his face soften as he hugged her. Ready for the zoo? He wouldn't meet my eyes. Let me get my backpack. She disappeared into her room. The silence stretched between us. Helen moved to the kitchen, giving us space. The apartment looks nice, he said finally. It's home. I gestured to Chloe's artwork. She's doing better. The therapist says. I saw the news about Blake Corporation. I know. He shifted uncomfortably. Fiona's. We're not. I don't need to know. And I didn't. Not anymore. The baby. Still not my business, Ethan. Chloe returned, saving us from more awkward conversation. Ready. As they left, I heard her chattering about her new school, her friends, her purple room. Ethan's responses grew fainter as they walked down the hall. Helen appeared beside me. You okay? I closed the door, looking around our new home. The furniture wasn't expensive, but it was ours. The walls held only happy memories. The air felt clean, free from secrets. You know what's strange? I picked up a photo of Chloe from the shelf, taken last week, her smile genuine again. I thought revenge would feel better. But this, just being happy moving forward, that's better than any revenge. That's because you're stronger than revenge, Helen said. You chose healing instead. My phone buzzed one last time. Unknown number. Thank you for the warning about Blake Corporation. Hope you and Chloe are well. Angela, Fiona's former assistant. I smiled, deleting the message. Some mysteries were better left unsolved. Mom! Chloe's voice echoed from the hallway. She'd started calling me that instead of mommy lately, growing up too fast. We forgot my zoo map. I grabbed the map from the counter, opening the door to find her bouncing impatiently while Ethan waited by the elevator. Thanks, she said, hugging me quickly. Love you, Mom. Love you too, baby. As they disappeared into the elevator, I didn't feel the ache I'd expected. Instead, I felt something lighter, hope maybe, or just the quiet certainty that sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's building something better from the ashes of what was lost.